Hey there. Today we're going to try to make a lip stain using beet juice. That's right. The reason I'm going to try this out is because one, I'm always looking for a healthier swap to things in my household, whether that be food, makeup, clothing, whatever. And I've had this beet juice here staring at me in my cabinet for probably 6 to 12 months now. I was planning on making the mushroom steak recipe where you use the beet juice, and clearly that never happened. These days, my favorite lip combo has been using the ColourPop lip stain and then applying a beef tallow chapstick over top and giving it like that natural shine. And this is like a gloss to stain. Normally, I apply it and then I let it sit for like a minute or two and then I wipe it off and it leaves like this really nice, natural but reddish color. And I feel like the beet juice might be able to give a very similar look. And I know that people do use like beet powder as a lip stain. So what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to quickly go over what is in the lip stain ingredients wise, why it's bad, why some of it's good. That way you can take that knowledge and apply it to anything else going forward that you might be purchasing. And then we're going to do a split test. I'm going to put the lip stain on half of my mouth because I would do a before and after, but it's a stain, so the only way to really compare is to do half and half. But then I'll do the other half with the beet juice. So let's get started. So on my screen here, I spent this morning just making a list of all of the ingredients that are in this lip stain. I broke it down by good, basically good, bad, and meh. So let's first start with our bad ingredients. This is really the only section we need to spend a lot of time on, and we're not even going to spend a lot of time on it. Because lucky for me and my summarization purposes, these guys actually all fall into one group, and that is ethyl oxide, hopefully I said that right, chemicals. And basically these chemicals are made with ethylene oxide, and ethylene oxide is a known carcinogen. A carcinogen is basically something that, to be very like in a nutshell with you, it can change your cells, make them abnormal, lead to cancer. Messes stuff up. Not good. So yeah, these all fall into that category. Now, a few of these do have some other things. For example, a common one I saw in a few of them was endocrine disruptors. Your endocrine system is what produces your hormones. So obviously, as you can imagine, that getting messed up could be quite problematic. So what I have here in the bad ingredients section is ingredients that can cause long-term severe harm, potentially life-threatening harm. Now, using this once or twice, obviously, probably not going to happen, right? But if you're using this every day for years, or if you're using this in combination with, let's say, other makeup products that share the same ingredients every day, yeah, that's something that might add up over time and you might start to see these issues. So that's definitely something to be aware of, and why I wanted to cover these ingredients with you. That way you can look at some other things in your household and just see where else these ingredients might be popping up, because it's not just makeup. Our section here, which is so lovingly called meh, is ingredients that aren't going to kill you, but you know, they could cause some irritation or a rash. Nothing really to be too concerned about, but obviously they're not great either. Our basically good section is some ingredients that I was a little bit on the fence about, but they also don't seem to have really any research on them that, from what I could find at least, never say never, but from what I could find, that makes them necessarily bad. There's no links to cancer or anything like that that I could find, nothing about rashes or irritation. They seem pretty good. The only thing I will say that did make me a little bit were the extracts. There's 2 fruit extracts, as you'll see. Now, these items as they are naturally occurring. Can't talk. Naturally occurring, so they're like they're fine in that sense. However, let's back up a minute and we can look at seed oils, we could look at essential oils. What makes these potentially bad is their extraction process. And I'm not going to say that I'm super knowledgeable about it, but it does make me wonder, is there any way that these 2 ingredients could be extracted in such a way that they might not be good? In the same sense that, you know, a heavily processed canola oil might be not good, or, you know, a non-organic essential oil that goes through a process and makes it not good. I feel like that's possible. So that's why I put them in basically good because there's a chance that they're not perfect. But are they the biggest offenders on this list? Far from it. Then we'll go on to our good section. Not really anything to say here. They're good. So, what I do think that is concerning is obviously the bad list is longer than any list on here. That speaks enough for itself. But yeah, do with that information as you will. And now we'll get into what you've really been waiting for, our split test. So I already know my daughter's gonna laugh at me when she watches back this video because she thinks it's really funny when I put my face close to the camera whenever I do like a makeup review or anything. Girl, I don't know what you want me to do. The people need to see what I'm doing. All right, so first we have here our ColourPop lip stain. Like I said, I'm gonna do half and half, so I actually have to go to the gym in about an hour, so hopefully I don't end up with two different color lips. Just gonna go about halfway. All right, so here is the first side. I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit. That way when I wipe it off, hopefully it's nice and pigmented. All right, next for what we've been waiting for. And I'm gonna give it a sniff test. Oh, it like kind of smells like pickles or sauerkraut. I don't know. So if you're going for something that smells good and fruity, this isn't gonna be it, but I don't care about that. Just gonna put a little bit in here because I can't imagine I'm gonna need much. Can you see? There it is, as best as I can show. Ooh, it's on my finger and it is staining already, so that is promising. I just wiped it off, it's still there. I think it's definitely a little bit more red than I thought it was gonna be for some reason, probably because in that jar it looks so dark, but let's give it a go. For me, I do like to slightly overline my lips because and this is just me being, self-conscious and weird. I feel like the ends of my lips are like really thin and then they get really full. So I try to make it like more even. So the transparency of this does make that a little bit harder, I think. I'm gonna like try to layer it a bit. Okay, so I have to pause and say, despite the smell being very much like pickle juice, it's actually not an offensive taste at all. It's very sweet, although I'm sure some of you would love if it tasted like pickles. Fair enough. But it's actually very sweet, and if you're thinking, well, duh, I've never had beet juice in my life, so. All right, so I think it's gonna end up being a little bit different. It's not quite the color I expected to be, but it's also not too far off. So let's wipe this side off and I'll show you. Oh god, it's actually the same. I actually thought it was going to be a little bit more different than that, but well then. Can you tell the difference? I can't. It's exciting. All right. Now to finish it off, I top with my beef tallow chapstick. Yeah. I think it looks really good. It looks just like how I normally wear it, so as you can tell. So, would you try Beet Juice lip stain?